Okay, we've sprayed the hub now. Use a high quality body shop primer. Probably costs you about £6 or £7 for a good quality, reasonable size can. Out of that, you should be able to do all 4 wheel hubs. Out of that, use a grey primer because it gives good coverage. It's a really thick, heavy paint. Goes on really well, and also grey is the colour that the original brakes would have been when they left the factory. And also, if you buy brand new brakes from Porsche, they come in the grey colour anyway. I've not been too careful, haven't done any masking up. Obviously, if you're doing it outside, you need to be careful of overspray on the bodywork, so you may need to mask that area off. Painted the caliper. I've also painted onto the disc, which in this case isn't a problem. It would affect your braking efficiency if you left it on there, but I find a very efficient way of doing it is some silver wool from a DIY shop. It's about £1.50 for a huge packet, which will last you a lifetime. And then once the paint's starting to dry off, just go around and rub the edge of the disc. Don't need to be too careful with it, and you can take it right back. You can come in with the camera, you can see you can get a real clean edge right to the bottom there, and just go all the way around the rotor and just take off the excess paint. Saves all the hassle of trying to mask up in lines and that sort of thing, and then you don't end up with the risk of leaving any residue on the brake disc from your cleaning agents or from any of the paint. So I'll go around that in a moment and finish that off. While we're looking at cleaning up, I've had a quick scrub over the caliper while I was away from you. One thing to remember when you're cleaning the caliper, don't use solvent-based cleaners. Use water-based. I mean, you can use WD-40 on a cloth and rub around and give it a good clean, a good scrub, but it's very important not to use petrol-based or cellulose-based or things like white spirit and thinners. Those products would have an effect on the brake seals, so if you weren't careful and you splash them onto the brake seals, there is a risk you could actually affect the braking efficiency of the car to a point where it may be dangerous. So be very careful what you use to clean the calipers. I use hot soapy water, a bit of fairy liquid, a good coarse sponge, give them a good rub over, let them dry off, and then a bit of WD-40 on a rag and get in all the crevices and clean the rest of the dust off that you couldn't get off with the sponge. And also any stubborn stuff as well you can work on with WD-40 on a rag. It works very well. If you really want to be very particular, you can use an old toothbrush to get into those little cracks and crevices where you can't quite get the ends of your fingers. Okay, so I'm going to leave you now. I'm going to carry on scrubbing off the rest of the overspray, and then we'll come back and we'll put things together and we'll get the stickers on.